Now, when we play this move, what happens is we do not allow this queen to move. This queen cannot make the move, because if the queen tries to move, then the king will be under attack. So at most, the queen can just capture the bishop. But if that happens, we can just capture this queen using our knight. So the bishop is guarded by the knight. So what we are doing is we pin the piece, and then we can easily capture it because we are getting a benefit. Even though we are losing the bishop, but that's completely fine. We get a benefit. That is enough. Pin the piece, win the piece. Let's try the next one. Okay. In this one, use the third thing. Defensive power of a pinned piece is imaginary. Try to figure out what is in pin. Right now, there is nothing in pin, but if you move a piece, something will get in pin. And we'll be using the third one. Defensive power of a pinned piece is imaginary. This is the most trickiest one to use, but that's what we use in a game most of the time. Yeah, that's a good answer. I got a good move. Yes, one right answer. So there are two ways of doing it, but one of them is like the best one. So there is a good move and there is a best move. Okay, it's interesting to see I got a variation. We'll talk about that. Okay, yes. So look at it this way. Imagine if the knight is not here. Just imagine the knight is not here. In that case, the pawn will be in pin. So we can say that the pawn is the pinned pawn. Okay. Now we can see what is the pawn guarding. Pawn is basically guarding this square and this square. But we know the defensive power of the pinned pawn is imaginary. So now what to do? Okay, one more minute. We have a good move and we have a best move over here. Okay. Yes. So I got most of the right answers. Over here, the best move is knight to f5 and the good move is knight to h5. Let us understand the difference over here. First of all, let's solve the puzzle and then we'll discuss the good one. Knight f5, reason being, it looks like the pawn is defending the square, but actually the pawn is in pin. So the defensive power of the pinned piece or a pinned pawn is imaginary. Let me bring a dark color. Better. Yeah. Okay. Now, in this case, as the king is moving, we can just capture the queen. So we can say that this is like a mixture of a double attack and a pin. We are using the idea of pin and we are using the idea of a double attack to win the piece. Okay. Knight h5 is also good. Why is it good? Because we are winning something. In this case, queen will not capture this knight, because if it does, then they will just lose the queen. Okay. So this is also good. We are winning something. But now compare it. With knight f5, we are getting a queen. With knight h5, we are only getting a pawn. So definitely getting a queen is better. Similarly, in a game, we can use the same idea. If we see two good options, compare and decide which is the best one. Let's try the next one. Okay. It's white to play. Again, the same thing. Defensive power of a pinned piece is imaginary. So first of all, find out what's in pin and then use the third one. Okay, I got one answer. And the symbol of the knight is N. K is for the king. Okay, but that is understood. So fine. Yes, right answer. Over here, we only have one good move. But we also have a variation. So we'll talk of that also. I got 4 right answers. Waiting for a few more. What is in pin? Something which cannot move right now. What is that? Yes. Okay, 5 right answers. Pin is when there is a small piece in front of a big piece, and the small piece cannot move. A piece or a pawn, it could be. That piece or that pawn cannot make the move. So we won't say that this pawn is in pin because it cannot move. This is not in pin. So basically, we do not allow that pawn or piece to move. But in this case, this pawn is blocked by the bishop. So this is not in pin. Okay, yes, most of you got it. Let's talk about it. I'll not make the move right now. Let's discuss about the variation. Knight e4, yes, it is the right answer. The pawn on d5 is in pin right now. So it looks like pawn is guarding the two squares, but actually it isn't. We cannot move the knight to c4 because c4 is also guarded by the bishop and the rook. But to this e4 square, only the pawn is guarding. So we go for knight e4 with the idea of a check and then attacking the rook as well. But now think ahead. Suppose we play knight e4 and they move the king to e5. And now see what's happening. If you capture my rook, I'll be capturing your rook. So what to do now? Knight to e4, king to e5. Now what to play as white? Answers in chat. Think ahead. Imagine the knight being on e4 and the black king being on e5. Okay, yes, I got one right answer. Yeah, that is a good move. Okay, we'll talk about it. Yes, Aruna ma'am got it. Correct. Yes, I got one more right answer. What happens next? Use forcing move. So last session we also learned about forcing move, CCTP. I hope everyone remembers CCTP. I'll just mention it very quickly. Checks, capture, threat, pawn break. So mostly those moves are right. CCTP. Think in that order. The first C is for check. First of all, look for check. That is the best. But not always check will help. Then capture. T is for threat. Sorry. T is for threat. And P is for pawn break. CCTP. Let's use this idea. Okay, I got two more answers. Let me see. Okay, in case of pawn f4, the problem is they are already attacking our rook. No? So if we go for pawn f4, they'll just capture the rook. We can also capture back, but then we don't get anything. We need something extra to win always. Okay. Knight e4, king e5. Now the right answer here was knight takes on c3. We'll see why. Knight takes on c3. We capture their rook. They capture our rook. Now what to do? Try to imagine the pieces. So now the white knight is on c3. We just captured the rook, and the black king is on d4. Now what to do? Find the best move. Same order. CCTV, checks, captures, threat, pawn break. Yeah, easy one to find now. Two right answers. Three right answers. Okay, good. So the knight is on c3 and the black king is on d4. It's easy now. What to play as white? So once we make the move, it's going to be a lot more easy, but let's try to do it this way without making the move. Okay, one more minute for this one. White knight on c3, black king on d4. What to play as white? Yes, okay. Okay, let's talk of the move. So knight e4 is good. King moves away. We capture their rook. They capture our rook. Until now, everything is equal, but then we win a free bishop. So in this puzzle, we don't win a rook. The rooks are getting exchanged because we are getting a rook and we are losing a rook. But we are winning a free bishop over here. That's the idea. I got one more answer over here, as in rook takes on d5. Yes, this can be done. We are winning a pawn, but again, it's better to win the bishop than to just win a pawn. We can have a pawn like this. Suppose captures, captures, and we take over here. We get a pawn. That's okay. But a rook is better than, sorry, a bishop is better than a pawn. So this is the best variation. Knight captures rook, king captures rook, and then we capture the bishop. Okay, next one on pin. White to play. Third idea, defensive power of the pinned piece is imaginary. What is in pin? And what is it defending? Yes, right answer. Okay, three right answers. 4, 4 out of 10. Okay, 5 out of 10. Waiting for 5 more. Arana ma'am, please check where is the pin? Where is the small piece? Where is the big piece in the same line? The pin is already there. We just need to use it. Start with checks. Look for all the possible checks. All the different ways in which we can give a check. So that's a big hint now. Look at all the ways in which we can give a check. Out of all the ways, one of them is right. And that's not a check on the king. If you go for queen d6, we are not giving a check to the king. Start with check. And with queen d6, nothing happens. They can capture our queen, we can capture their queen. Everything's equal. We don't win anything. So how can we go with check? Yeah, that is one way to give a check, but is that the best one? What happens next? Okay, let's talk of the answer now. So for this puzzle, we had two different ways to give a check. By the way, pin was over here. The pawn is in pin. This pawn cannot defend the f6 square or the h6 square. If anything comes onto these two squares, the pawn cannot do anything. So here we have the pin. And now what are the possible checks? In this position, we have two possible checks. Number one is queen e7, simple one. We are giving a check to the king. Number two is knight to f6. That is also a check on the king. Right now, if we go for queen g7, they will capture our queen. Now we don't have anything to do. We cannot give a check, nor can we capture anything. We don't have a good threat coming up. Nothing happens. But with knight f6, we are giving a check, plus we are using this idea. Defensive power of a pinned piece is imaginary. So knight f6 check, the pawn cannot capture, king has to run away, king moves, and then we get the queen. Okay, for this one, let's try it ourselves. What to play as white? Which one to use? Do we need to make a pin? Do we need to pressurize the pinned piece? Or the third one? Okay, this is not actually about pin. Yeah, the move is right, but this is not a puzzle. Let's skip this one. The move basically is h5. We don't have a pin over here. Nothing was in pin. We are just simply trapping the piece. So not the right puzzle. Yeah, this is in pin. Black to play. Which idea to use? Pin the piece, win the piece, or put pressure on the pinned piece, or the third one, defensive power of a pinned piece is imaginary. Yes, right answer. Okay, two right answers. Yeah, that's a good option. But Jyotsna ma'am, we have something better happening. Okay, yes. Awesome. Majority are getting it. Rook is not going to g7. Rook cannot go to g7. Okay, let's use the third one. Defensive power of a pinned piece is imaginary. How do we use it? The piece which is in pin that cannot defend anything. Yes. Now that's the right one. So in this puzzle, basically we can use all the three. We can win the pinned piece, we can put pressure on the pinned piece, or we can use the third one. But the best one is the third one over here. Defensive power of a pinned piece is imaginary. That's the best. We'll wait for 1 more minute and then we'll discuss all the options. Okay, let's talk of the move. So first one easy, pin the piece, win the piece. We can already see a pin. We can capture the pinned piece, which is also good. We are getting a rook, we're only losing a bishop. But look at the overall position then. What is left on the board? In chess, what matters is what is left on the board, not what goes out of the board. Because eventually we will play with the pieces which are remaining on the board. So this bishop and this rook is going out of the board, that doesn't matter. We'll see what is left on the board. So on the board, we have a rook and they have a queen. Obviously better for white. So even if we are having this small advantage by winning the rook, but we won't be able to win the overall game. So the first option is good, but not helping us to win the game. Put pressure on the pinned piece. How can we do it? With the move rook to f2. Yes, can be done. Again, a good option because in this case, we can capture the rook for free. So until now, we were giving up the bishop for the rook. But when we play the move rook f2, no matter what black does, we can just capture this rook for free then with the rook or with the bishop. Probably with the rook is better. So we can do it. But in that case, what is left on the board? We will have a bishop and a rook. They will have a queen. And a bishop and a rook is better than a queen. So this is again good, but not helping us to, sorry, a queen is better than a bishop and a rook. I said the opposite thing. So that is also good, but not helping us to win. Now, third one, how do we use? Defensive power of a pinned piece is imaginary. If this rook is in pin, that means it cannot move anywhere right now to any of these squares. So we use the forcing move idea, checks, capture, threats. Bishop takes on G2, that was a capture, but capture comes second in the list. Rook F2 was a threat comes third in the list. We always start with check. So in any given position, always start with check, then capture, then threat, and then compare to figure out the best one. So the right answer here is rook F1 check. Now what happens is the rook cannot go to G1 because the rook is in pin. This is also a check plus capture, but not helping us. So the right answer here is rook to F1. Always have different options. It's like plan A, plan B, plan C. And then compare to figure out the best one. So a good way of explaining this is thinking of moves in chess is like going on a shopping. Just to give an example, how do we go on a shopping? We enter the shop. We don't buy the first thing which we see. Rather, what we do is we look at different items. Suppose we want to purchase a pair of clothes. In that case, we will look at different clothes. Some might be looking good, but that may not fit. Some may fit, but might not be looking good. Some might be of the right fit and maybe looking good, but maybe too expensive. Right. So after doing all of this hard work for 1-2 hours, we get that one perfect dress. Similarly, in chess, always look for different options. Compare to find the best one. Don't play the very first move which we can see. And have this question, this is what I'm getting, but can I have more? Okay, like in this case, it's very good to see that we are winning the rook against the bishop. Definitely good. But before playing this move, same question, can I have more? Then we may find the move rook to f2. This is better because in this case, I'm winning the rook for free. But then same question, can I have more? So always have this question, and once you cannot find anything better, then play the best one which we can see. Okay, now we'll try the last one on pin, and after that we'll move to the next topic. It's black to play. Which idea to use? First one, second one, or third one? And also take the help of forcing move. Yes, I got one right answer. Okay, yes, three right answers. So in this position, we cannot give a check to the white king anyhow. So check is cut off the list. We cannot do it. Can we capture a piece? Piece first. So right now we can capture pawn, but we don't have any pieces to be captured. So let's move to the third one, threats. Can we make a threat? Think about it. Yes, okay. Yeah, so when we think in the right order, we always get the right move. All the answers are correct. In this puzzle, we use the first idea, pin the piece, win the piece. Bishop c5, and that's also a threat. I'm going to capture the queen. I didn't capture it yet. Sorry, but I'm going to capture it. So in this case, we'll just capture the queen now. The first idea, pin the piece and win the piece. Okay, that was all about pin. Let's try some puzzles on skewer now. So basically, skewer is complete opposite of pin. In pin, we saw that there is a small piece in front of a big piece, and the small piece cannot move, or we do not allow the small piece to move. But in the case of skewer, what happens is there is a big piece in front of a small piece, and we force the big piece to move so that we can capture the smaller one. So in pin, we are capturing the big piece. In skewer, our target is to capture the smaller piece. Skewer is relatively easier than pin. Here we have the first puzzle. So whichever tactic we are looking at, one thing will be common, and that is forcing move. Forcing move always is common for all the tactics. Okay, so let's use the idea of forcing moves to solve puzzles on skewer. Check, capture, threat, pawn break. Look at all the ways to give a check, then capture, then threat.
It's white to play, sir.
Yes, ma'am. White to be. Okay, yes, one right answer. It's easy one. How can we give a check? And are we getting something or not? Yes. Uh, Tripta, ma'am, king is not going to a3. King a3 is this one, and king cannot go to a3. Okay, see, king a3 is this. I guess the square name just is wrong. You may have got the answer. Okay. Yeah, here the move is simple. Rook a4. First forcing move check. So there is a big piece and there is a small piece. Big piece has to run away, and then we capture the smaller one. Check, capturing the smaller piece. Simple. Next. Okay, black to play. In this puzzle, we'll make a skewer in two moves. So first of all, we'll play a move, then white will play something, and then we'll make a skewer. It goes like that, but the idea remains same. Use the concept of forcing move. Checks, captures, threats. Yes, easy. Okay, Kuldeep sir is typing the variation. Yes, Kuldeep sir, correct. Variation is also right. Look at all the ways to give a check. And then when we give a check, what can white do? Then how can we make a skewer? So check, then white will make a move, and then we make a skewer. Now this should be simple because we only have one way to give a check. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Bhavya is giving the variation. Yes, Bhavya, correct. Yeah. Okay, easy one. So in this case, the only way to give a check is by capturing the pawn on h2. King cannot capture it because the bishop is already guarding. So we give a check. Now the only move they can play is king to f1. And now we have a skewer coming up. There is a big piece and then we have a smaller piece. Check, king runs away, and then we capture the smaller piece. Next. Okay, again it's a skewer in two moves. Black to play. Same idea, look, start with check, they play a move, and then we make a skewer. So it's like no matter which concept we will learn, forcing move is constant in all of them. Yes, Tripta, right answer. Yes, Aruna ma'am, correct. Bhavya ma'am, right answer. Jyotsna ma'am, right answer. Yes, Bhavya ma'am. Variation is also correct. Pavitra ma'am, check the square name. I think square name is wrong. And if we play that move, that's not a check on the king. Kailash, the right answer. Yes, Bhavya ma'am, that's a skewer, and then we will win the piece. The variation is completed. Okay. Now, the only way to give a check here is look to h3. We give a check. Yes, the right answer. Rook h3 check. King has to run away to g5. That's the only option. Again, a check, which also makes the skewer. And then we can win the rook. There are two attackers. So even if the king is coming to f5, we can still capture it. Suppose, let me make the move first. In this case, suppose king comes to e5, we can still capture it because we have a defender over here. Next. Simple. White to play, make a skewer. Forcing moves, checks, capture threat. Now see, there are so many ways to give a check. Which one is the best one? And a lot more. Yes, but there is a queen. So let's think ahead. If I play this, what will happen? There are many more checks which I didn't mark on the board. Yes, Praptam, right answer. Pavitram, that's not a check on the king. If we go for queen d8, it's not a check. Bhavyam, that's a check, but what are we getting? Aruna ma'am, that's a check, but what are we getting? The last question always is that what am I getting? So if we get something, it's good. If we don't, then it's bad. Simple. Yes, Kailash, right answer. There are lots of checks happening. Some of them I didn't mark on the board. Okay, just to give a quick hint, we can see a big piece, and behind the big piece there is a small piece. So this is the line of attack. A big piece is the king, behind the king is the queen. Now this should be easy. H7 is this square. Queen cannot go to H7. Yes. Yeah, now it's right. Queen B7 is a check, but let's move to this line of attack. So this is a file. And when we give a check like this, we are giving a check in a diagonal. So we need to move on the file. The move is queen to A8. A check on the king again by capturing the piece. Once the king moves away, we capture the queen. That makes a skewer. Next. Simple. For this, no hints. White to play. Yes, Bhavya, right answer. Aruna ma'am, correct. Septum, right answer. Jyotsna, right answer. Kailash, right answer. Same idea. Checks capture threats, forcing move. Let's start with check. So there are two ways to give a check. One of them is the right one. Simple. Yes, the right answer. Okay. Pretty easy one. We can just simply, there are two ways to give a check. And of course, the right one is A8, because if we go to C7, we are just simply losing the rook. So A8 check, king moves away, and we capture the rook. Okay. Now the last puzzle on keyword. White to play. It gets tricky when we have a lots of pieces on the board. So until now, pieces were very less. It was very easy to find the move. But now we have a lot of pieces. What to play as white? Find this keyword. Okay, it doesn't look tricky for us. Aranam, I'm right. Bhagirav, I'm right. Okay. But we'll make it tricky. Yes, Rattam, I'm right answer. In the same position, I will have a question once we're done with the puzzle. Yes. Kailash, can take the square name. Yeah, that's right. Jyotsna, I'm right answer. How can we give a check to the king? Let's start with checks. Yes, the right answer. That's a bishop. So bg5, not rg5. Bishop g5, we give a check to the king. King runs away and we capture the
Yes, sir.
queen. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
But hold on. Now suppose over here I'll also make a skewer. Rook to f8. About to lose the queen. White to play. What to play as white? What should we play now? Yes, there are two options. One of them, out of the two options, one is like the best one. Okay, I'm getting so many answers. Bhavya ma'am, right? That's the best one. Tripta ma'am, that's a good one, but the other one is best. Sir, the other one is best. Rajati ma'am, yes, that's best. Another ma'am, that's good, but the other one is best. Let's look at all the options first and then decide, then choose the right one. Jyotsna ma'am, that is good, but the other one is best. Kailash said that is good, but we have one more and that's the best one. It's a check on the king, Tripta ma'am. We need to protect the king somehow. So how to protect the king? There are two options to protect. I mean, there are lots of options, but two of them are good. If we move the king away, in that case, we're losing the queen. We don't want to lose the queen. So what to do? So running away with the king is not an option here. If we move the king anywhere, we'll just lose the queen. Yes, that's the right one. Okay, so two good moves here are we can play the move bishop f3 and now the king is safe, or bishop to f6. The best one is bishop f6 because let's say if we go for bishop f3, in that case we are losing a bishop. But when we go for bishop f6, we won't lose anything. Even if they capture our bishop, we can capture back with the pawn now. So why to give up anything, even if it is a small pawn or even a bishop? Let's not give anything to the opponent. So the right one was bishop f6 over here. And everyone got the skewer with bishop g5, that was right. And then if they make a skewer, then we have bishop f6. Okay. Now moving ahead to the third tactic of double attack. Now, out of every tactic, I like this one the most. Reason being because this is the most commonly used tactic in a game. So we won't be using pins or skewers that much or any other idea, but double attack is very, very common when compared to every other ideas. Okay. Now, how to easily find the answers for puzzles on double attack? Okay, already started getting answers, but let's discuss the shortcuts first. Okay. Uh, the first step we do is never start by thinking of a move in chess. So whenever we get a position, usually what players do is they start by thinking of a move. Let me play this. Let me play that. That's not the right way. Always, first of all, observe the position. What is going on? Yes, all the answers I got, three answers. Everything is right. But let's discuss this first. Right now, the puzzle is easy. So it's easy to find, but slowly we'll move to some tricky ones. So one common way of doing this is mark the hanging pieces. Now, basically, hanging piece means the piece which is not being protected by anything. Okay, mark the hanging pieces. So, in a position, there may be one hanging piece, maybe two, or maybe three, or maybe four. Okay, so step one, mark the hanging pieces. Okay, step number two, try attacking the hanging piece with a check on the king. Okay, if we can give a check, we should try that because again, in forcing move, the first forcing move is a check. Okay, if suppose check is not possible, in that case, so if not, then try attacking multiple hanging pieces at the same time. Okay, so first of all, mark all the hanging pieces. Right now it's easy, we only have one. But the king is never a hanging piece. And when we talk about pieces, we only count the rook, knight, bishop, and queen. Okay, we don't talk about the pawns. So we only have the queen as a hanging piece right now. It's not being protected by anything. This pawn is not being protected. We'll call it as a hanging pawn. We'll not say a hanging piece to this pawn. Okay. So mark the hanging piece. We already marked it. We have one. Now step number two. Let's try attacking the hanging piece with a check on the king. How can we give a check? We have one way. Rook to f6. We are giving a check and we are attacking the hanging piece. What if they capture the rook? In that case, we can just capture back with the. Okay, if they're moving, we can capture the queen. But if they capture back, we can just take it with the knight. So we are losing two pieces, the rook and the knight. But 5 plus 3 is only 8. Sorry, just a minute. 5 plus 3, rook is 5 and knight is 3. 5 plus 3 is only 8. We are losing 8 points, but we are winning 9 points. Okay. Now let's try it from the next puzzle. Black to play, double attack. So in this position, we have a hanging piece, but that might not help. So use the idea of forcing move. Easy. Yes. Avi ma'am, right answer. Kailash sir, correct. What are the different ways to give a check? Yes. Aruna ma'am, right answer. Jyotsna ma'am, that's a check on the king, but what are we winning? Tripta ma'am, that's not a check on the king. Let's start with checks first. Yes, Kuldeep's the right answer. Pavitra ma'am, right answer. Yes, Ratna ma'am, now it's right. Okay, few more seconds, then we'll discuss the move. Okay, almost everyone answered. Let's discuss. We have two ways to give a check, knight f3 and knight e2. When we play the move knight f3 check, we are having a double attack, but that's a bad one because even they can capture our piece. So instead of getting something, we are losing the knight. Now with the other check, knight e2, we are giving a check and attacking the rook. Rook is a bigger piece, knight is a smaller piece. Okay, so we can just capture the rook. We are getting a rook, we will lose a knight, but that's completely fine. We get 5, we lose 3. Next. Okay, white to play, forcing moves. So again, we don't have a hanging piece. Let's use forcing moves. Let's start with check first. That is the check, Tripta ma'am, but what are we getting? Bhavya ma'am, right? Aruna ma'am, right? We need to win something. Yes, Kailash, sir, right? There are two ways to give a check. Yes, Jyotsna ma'am, right? So during a game, basically what we do is, after thinking of everything, the last question we ask ourselves is, what am I getting? So only when we get something, we should play that move. Okay. So we have two ways over here, rook g8 as a check and bishop d4 as a check. We can give rook g8 check, but then we are losing the rook. We don't get anything. When we go for bishop d4, it's a check on the king. We do lose the bishop, but then we get a queen, and queen is a bigger piece than the bishop. So that was the right way to make a double attack bishop d4. So once the entire thinking process is done, have this question: what am I getting? That's the most important one. Even in a game, same question: what am I getting? Okay, white to play, very easy. Double attack. Mark the hanging piece. Try to attack it with a check, or simply use forcing move. That's also fine. Yes. Arun, right answer. Kailash, okay, fine. Yes, sir, right answer. Yes, ma'am, right answer. Yes, Jyotsna ma'am, Pavitra ma'am, Tripta ma'am, all correct. Kuldeep sir, right? No, Pavitra ma'am, that's not a check on the king. Check the square name. I misread that. The square name is wrong. Okay. It's knight c6. e6 is over here. If we go for e6, it's not a check on the king. So we have two ways to give a check, knight c6 and knight to f5. If we go for this check, what are we getting? We are getting a pawn, but we are losing a knight. That's bad. With knight c6, we are winning a free rook. So that's the right double attack and we win the piece. Next. Easy, white to play. Same thing. Yes, Aradham, I'm right answer. Yes, Jyotsna ma'am, Kailash is all correct. Now the answers are coming so quickly. I feel like in the tournament we'll have a close competition. Tripta ma'am, right answer. It's easy now. We only have one way to give a check. Yes, the right answer. Okay, it was pretty simple. We'll go for knight to e6, and then we are winning the rook with a check on the king. Okay, we'll try a few more on double attack, but let's increase the difficulty now. It's getting easier. Um, just a minute. Okay, not very difficult. Try this one. Black to play. Same idea of double attack. We have a little more pieces on the board now. That's the only difference. What to play as black? That is a check on the yes, Rhythm, I'm right, Kailash is right. Rhythm, and that's a check on the king, but what are we getting? Jyotsna, I'm right. Yes, right answer. Pavitram, I'm right answer. Ma'am, that's not a check on the king. If we go for knight g2, we're just capturing the pawn. And then also we lose the knight. So let's start with check first. There are three ways to give a check. Okay. So the move here is knight to g4. We go with a check and then we win the rook. Now, what was tricky about this puzzle? Number one, we have a little more pieces, but um, the main point here is that usually we miss to find the backward movement of the piece. In chess, mostly everyone is taught that move forward, attack the opponent. So at times it is quite difficult to find, and we miss it generally that pieces can also move back. Okay, and even in tournament games, even professional players they also miss this thing at times. So this is the backward movement of the knight, and then we are having an attack on the back. So knight g4 and we win the piece. Okay. Now moving to the last one, discovered attack. A discovered attack is again the same thing. We move a piece and the piece behind it will do the attack. Right. As we discussed last time, let me just change the name. Discovered attack. It's like uncovering the attack. How to solve it? The first one remains same. Mark the hanging piece and then try attacking the hanging piece with a check on the king. And the third one is also the same. If not, then try attacking multiple hanging pieces at the same time. So right now we can see that we have two hanging pieces, the bishop and the rook. Both of them are unprotected. Now, one question at a time. Can we attack this bishop with a check on the king in one move? Second question, if not, then can we attack this rook with a check on the king at the same time? What is possible? Attacking the king and rook or attacking the king and bishop? Forcing move remains same. Start with checks. Yes, that's the right answer. Yes, Kuldeep sir, correct. Kuldeep sir, what's the move? The move is still missing. Pavitra ma'am, check the square name. You got the move, but square name is a little incorrect. Yes, the right answer. Tripta ma'am, that's no. Start with a check in one move. Kuldeep's the right answer. Kailash sir, check the square name. You got the idea, you got the move, but mistake is with the square name. Yes, Kailash. Yes, Pavitra ma'am. Yes, Runa ma'am. Correct. Yes. So in this case, we start with a check, knight to f3, and now we are attacking the rook along with that. So it's not just about this knight, but also with the rook. So this is the discovered attack. We are moving the knight, but we are attacking with the rook. We lose the knight, but we are winning the rook. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, here we have a new one. It's white to play. Oh, this is a nice one. This is the discovered attack. Try to find it. What makes this nice is that we don't have a hanging piece. The bishop on b7 is hanging, but it is inside the home. Not even possible to attack it. So we'll create a hanging piece and then we'll capture it along with a discovered attack. Follow the same idea of forcing moves and it will be easy to find the answer. Let's have a variation for this one. Yes, Tripta ma'am or Rana ma'am, that's correct, but what next? What will black play, then what will we play? Let's not stop at a check. Check is now easy to find for everyone. When we play that move, what can black do? Then what will we do? Yes, Jyotna ma'am, that's a check. But what will black play? Then what will we do? Yes, Kailash sir, what next? What will black play? What will we do? Vitra ma'am, that's not a check on the king. Let's start with check. Come on, variation is interesting for this one and important to find. Yes, Mahesh sir, what next? What will black play? What will we do? Bishop d4 is not possible. And black, no, black cannot play bishop d4. No, the king is in check. So what will black play? Black has to move the king. Knight e8 is not possible. No, Kailash sir. Knight cannot move like a bishop. No, rook e6 is not possible. King has to move. Okay, let's play the move. Knight g6 is a check. King has to make a move. Now what? Now it's easy. White to play. Where is the hanging piece? We just made a hanging piece right now. What to capture? Yes, Kuldeep's the right answer. Queen d6 is not happening. It's white to play. White queen cannot go to d6. Yes, Mahesh, the right answer. So it's very simple. Look at all the black pieces one by one and see which one is unsupported and capture it. Easy. Ma'am, we need to capture a piece now. There is something hanging. Sir, piece, not pawn. Yes, yes, ma'am. So over here, when we capture, right now the knight is supported by the pawn. But as we capture the pawn, this knight is a hanging piece. And we are uncovering the attack. Discovered attack is when we uncover the attack. And then we capture the hanging piece. Next one. White to play. Okay, look for a check. And then same question, what are we getting? This is a discovered check, not a discovered attack. We make a discovered check, then we win a piece. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Randa ma'am, right answer. Bhavya ma'am, is there a question? Okay. Yes, Kailash, right answer. So wherever we
No,
move
sir,
this
by
knight,
mistakenly I pressed that
okay,
button, but I can't close it.
okay. So wherever we move this knight, it will be a check on the king. But the question is, what is the best square for the knight? We have lots of squares. For example, this, and many more again. Yes, sir, right answer. Yes, Manisha, right answer. Yes, ma'am, correct. Yes, Satyanam, correct. So over here, the move is knight to e6. That is the best square. It looks like they can capture us on e6, but they cannot because it's a discovered check on the king. King has to make a move. As the king moves, we capture the queen, the strongest piece on the board. Let's do one last puzzle for today on discovered attack. Okay, white to play. Too many pieces on the board. Look at the hanging piece. Mark the hanging piece and then try to attack it with a check on the king. Or use forcing moves idea. Yes, Mahesh, the right answer. Aranda ma'am, that's not a check on the king. Let's start with check. Yes, the right answer. Okay, Kuldeep sir, what next? What will black play? What will we play? Tripta ma'am, that's a check. But no, that's not the right one. There is something wrong with it. Aranda ma'am, what next? That's a check. What will black play? What will we do? Kailash said that's a check, but what are we getting? And we won't win the queen with that move. Because instead of pawn capturing, queen will capture. No, knight will not capture the pawn, queen will capture the knight. Sorry, pawn will not take the knight, queen will take the knight. Because if pawn takes it, then we are getting the queen. So what black will do is, in case of knight b5, they will capture it with the queen. That is the problem. A
No,
different way to
after the
give a check.
first, after the first check, sir. After the first check, the next move I'm talking about.
Okay,
The
fine.
knight will be captured.
Yes, and then what? What to play as white? Yes, Tripta ma'am, correct.
Mm,
Yes, Rana, I'm right. Okay, so it's pretty simple over here. We capture on e6 with the knight, check on the king. They capture and we capture the queen. But here I have a question. Suppose king is going to c8. Now to capture, we can capture the queen with the knight as well. Should we do it? So in that case, we can protect the knight and also getting the queen. Should we do it? Yes, Kuldeep sir.
No, you lose your queen with the rook.
Yes. In this case, we should not capture it with the knight because even our queen is under attack. So we have to capture it with the queen only. And it's a check on the king. So it's important to see opponent's threat also, that they are playing a move like rook to e4 in this case, and they're attacking the queen. So we have to make our threat, but also we need to look from the other side as well. If we can make a threat, so can our opponent, and both the sides will make threats. We need to look at everything. Knight b5 doesn't help because over here queen will take the knight. So the right answer was knight to e6. Okay. So that was the last puzzle for today. Just to sum up, in the case of pin, we learned about three things. Pin the piece, win the piece. Second, put pressure on pinned piece. Third one, the defensive power for pinned piece is imaginary. For skewer, it's simple, use forcing move. For double attack and discovered attack, we can use this three-step process. First of all, look at hanging pieces. Then try to attack those hanging pieces with a check. If not possible, then try to attack multiple hanging pieces. Or else just use the idea of forcing move. So the idea of forcing move is common whatever we learn. Okay. So even if we forget something, we can just remember this idea of forcing move and it will guide us in any position. Any questions with this, anyone? Okay. So that was the puzzle, the practice on puzzles. Next session will be our last session, and after that we have the main tournament. Next weekend we will be playing a complete game. So it's like a simul where a coach will be playing against everyone at the same time. For that, it's important, please have a Leechess account. So anyone who hasn't made it, please make it. And make sure you're signed into the Leechess account. Without the account, we cannot play the simul next weekend. So that's a humble request. Please have a Leechess account. We'll play a game. We'll play the game and then we will understand some key ideas in each and every game. Any questions, anyone? And after that, on 14th of May, we'll have the main tournament. So anyone who hasn't registered yet, we'll be sharing the step-by-step process again. Please complete that process and you will be registered for the tournament. Okay, any final questions?
The tournament will be rapid rated, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and it will be carried out in the same time?
No, for tournament it's at 7 p.m. IST now.
7 p.m. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, so parents, that's all for today. Thank you for joining. Hope everyone enjoyed.